So here's my head that the Jonathan Kleck channel shows periodically, and I just feel like it's the other twin, like uh, like the Esau type twin. Back on September 6, 2020, is when I took a picture of this. This is that letter that I wrote to my neighbors. I wrote it back on Sunday, April 9th, 2017. And so what I wrote was, I'm sorry, I just can't take it anymore. Today's February 25th, 2022. I'm sorry, I just can't take it anymore. This time I'm going to speak plain English and get straight to the point before more things keep happening that are obvious, predictable, and as fake as professional wrestling. And mind you, I never even knew Stephen James Shawn and Steve Olston over there. I can go through verse after verse, but then it'll be another 6-page letter that probably won't be read anyway, so I'll spare you the agony. Because I wrote 6 pages to my neighbors also. I don't claim to have all the answers or full information, but I do know when people are trying to deceive me. That I do know. I am not forcing nor expecting anyone to believe me, and this is exactly how I went into the YouTube platform. I just want this to be read before it's too late, just in case these things happen. Only after Trump was elected is when my eyes started to focus and understand the real plan for America the Great. Sunday, April 30th at noon will be exactly his 100th full day. The only people I see daily are the ones that I said Trump is going to start a war before his first 100th day. Most said they don't think so. April 6th is officially the beginning of this war that I've been anticipating. He was taking jabs at so many countries, even our allies, doing things according to his will, like he wants to stir up a war. You can call what I say conspiracies, but they're not theories. If you're not watching the news anymore, but you were at first, then that means you're sick of trying to figure out who's lying and who's telling the truth. And that the terrorist attacks are now just an everyday or so event. So you just get numb to it. Also, the shootings and killings all over the world have become routine. First of all, who can honestly say they actually believe politicians? There's some truth from Trump, however. It's deceptive truth. Make America great again, draining the swamp, and America first. The only time America was great in their eyes is when it was first founded by an elite with very few people in it. Draining the swamp, and this is what got the cops called on me from my neighbor the one time when I handed out. The only time draining the swamp is getting rid of everyone who isn't part of the elite. In other words, isn't part of the elite. It's another word for population control. That's what wars are for. And America is first. In my first letter 6 months ago, I said deception will be all over the world, and the beast of the earth will have power to make fire come down from heaven in the sight of men before real fire comes down from real fire comes down from the Lord from heaven, which means there will be a TV war.
Nations in the Baltic region of Europe, NATO members, that'll get interesting. Then we're looking at what, World War III, unless, of course, NATO is a paper tiger, which unfortunately I have to report tonight is probably a real possibility.
Which means there will be a TV war with TV bombs coming down from TV heaven.
Russia overnight launched its long-anticipated attack on Ukraine, striking military posts across the country. An unprovoked war in Europe is now underway. The assault began with an angry message from President Vladimir Putin broadcast in the middle of the night.
TV bombs coming. Who has that kind of power? Well, just go to the theaters and watch the Best Destructive War or action movie and ask yourself if you can tell the difference between real footage and special effects. Trump started the saying, it's fake news. It's all fake news. I've been saying it's all fake news stories even when Osama Barack, Saddam bin Laden, Hussein, Obama was president. So I was already connecting him to Osama bin Laden. Whatever his name is or isn't, who can become a president without a birth certificate? My main point is America will be bombed by most likely Russia, I'd have to say, on the East Coast. Now, this is Vladimir Putin, and it is Russia. It's not America just yet, but this is the beginning of getting it over here.
Russia cannot feel safe, develop, and exist with a constant threat emanating from the territory of modern Ukraine, he said, describing the government in Kiev as a junta of neo-Nazis determined to build nuclear weapons. As Putin spoke, seemingly on cue, Russian bombs started falling. Crews.
So you're going to get some TV bombs. Is there going to be some real stuff mixed in there? Of course there is. But my main point is America will be bombed most likely by Russia on the East Coast and North Korea or China. That's what it is, from the West Coast. Probably California, Florida, or even the Four Corners, the top and bottom left and top and bottom right of America. We'll have a warning from our fake news media, which they'll probably tell us to flee. Where do I go? Please tell me, my God. Well, I'll tell you this, no matter what, wherever you're at, they will tell you to flee. And as I wrote down here, America, do not flee from the fear of the noise. He who flees from the noise of the fear will fall into the pit and be taken into a snare. Just understand that the windows of heaven are open right now. But because this isn't in America yet, this still applies to Russia. If you notice, I said this. Did I say World War III in this title? Well, I mean, it's the bombs, the TV bombs. But my main point is America will be bombed by most likely Russia. So Russia is the bomber. Russia is the one that's bombing right now.
Shelling in Mariupol in southeastern Ukraine started on Thursday.
Now, when you go from Harold Camping's world, the day that the water stopped, 8:48 a.m., 70 weeks, that takes you to Wednesday, February 23rd. So this, right at the 70th week period, is when the war was basically officially kicking off.
Confirming what most Ukrainians had feared. Residents rushed to leave the city after Russia declared war on the country.
So Russia definitely is the focal point. I didn't say America will bomb Russia. I didn't say China's going to, I didn't say any other which way besides Russia will be the one that's doing the bombing. And so far, it's over in Ukraine. And so we'll have a warning from our fake news media. Will tell us to flee probably to the middle of the United States to escape the radiation. Kind of cold in here. And I'm trying to escape the radiation myself just by turning off things. I'm sure I'll suffer from this video, but I keep it down to a minimum. Then once we see all this, they'll just turn off our power grid so that we can't call anybody from any state that was bombed or any other country to tell them that we haven't seen anything. Think about what people will do if there's no power and they think we're being nuked. Well, they'll kill each other. Isaiah 24:18, he who flees from the fear of the noise will fall into the pit. This is the noise. This is the noise of rumors of wars and wars of rumors of wars. But the end is not yet. Fall in the pit and be taken into a snare, for the windows of heaven are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. Come, my people, enter into your private rooms and shut your doors. Hide yourself, as it were, for a little moment until the fury passes over. In other words, don't fear the war, but fear God and pray for your souls. Even if the war is real or not, their plan becomes real to eliminate the population. America first, then the rest of the world. But within a few days, God will put an end to it. So be patient. The reason it's America first is because of Jeremiah. And come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations. Is this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your eyes? Also with the YouTube platform, which I call by my name, has become a robber in your eyes. I will do to this house, which is called by my name, where you trust, which I gave to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh.
As well, this is near Shiloh Road, north of LBJ Freeway. There are trees down, many homes with roof damage. Garland police say they have no reports of any serious injuries, however.
Back on the previous Harold Camping's World, October 21st, 2019, I was already on to Click. I only started getting on Click in June of 2019. So everything that he was doing, I just was onto it and seemed to get close to understanding what was happening with this script. Which I gave to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh, and throw you out of my sight. So who calls God by his name, and where does it say that God's name we trust? God's name is mentioned in the place where he's referring to the national anthem, God Bless America, the Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God, and on our money, in God we trust. So where's your trust? In man who lies, or in God who speaks the truth? I started YouTube April 2nd, 2017, and I foreseen that Russia will bomb America, and either or North Korea or China, just like an Asian type country, will also have the back of Russia coming against us in America. Not exactly sure why I wrote this. From what I was seeing, just what I was paying attention to, without even having a YouTube channel or even talking about anything back then. But, which means there will be a TV war with TV bombs coming down from TV heaven.
Right, look.
That's a bomb. This is TV. We're watching a TV war.
And it's no longer just the separatist East under attack.
Like this is on its way. 17th and JFK. Even back on May 21st, 2020, almost 2 years ago, I found that somehow just by the way it looks. So I've made many predictions, but back on December 20th, 2019, I'm catching on that this bombing here looks like 17th JFK. Yeah, I'm blaming Kleck for it, but I know when it happens, I'll be the one to get locked up for it. I'll let Kleck tell you with his own words, second 9/11, or what time day. This is just a side note. Wouldn't that be nice to be able to drive a brand new car like that? It will be nice. So here's all the bombings. Jonathan Kleck showing you. Back on October 31st, 2019. I'm not going to read all this, but this is a letter I wrote to my neighbors back in, well, I took a picture of October 26, 2019. And just about being deceived and all the biblical information I could come up with. This great city here, where Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Remember that? Transformed into an angel of light. Page 2. Fire come down from heaven, the miracles. Page 3. Page 4. I spent a lot of time on this. He said May 21st, spiritual resurrection, but then 5 months later, October 21st, 2011, when the world didn't end. Harold Camping's world, like it predicted, retired, and since he passed away on December 15, 2013. But here we are 5 years later, October 21st, 2016. Six months before I started YouTube. It's 2 weeks away to number 5 in the Bible, being reconciled with God. Once it started, rain 40 days, 40 nights. Noah stepped in. Days are prolonged. Giving you meat in due season. This letter is from one of your neighbors on this block, so let's stick together and protect our families. What we're going through is only temporary, so be patient and wait on the Lord. This is when I was writing it on 10/7. 10/7/2016.
And sadly, we're going to find out one way or another if Biden and Europe fail to get serious and cut off their addiction to Russian oil and gas. So
there are two different races. The serpent race in Genesis 1, that's why you see Adidas original and everyone's upside down, and the Adamic race from Genesis 2. And those two bred together, and you have the earth and everybody in it. So, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord that hath mercy on thee.
we're going to find out one way or another if Biden and Europe fail to get serious and cut off their addiction to Russian oil and gas. So far,
Joseph Biden. Yeshua is hidden, United States of America, human host of Christ, is what that says. For Joseph Biden. Jonathan Click, 888. And it says, Holy Son of God, the Christ, Lord Christ, the second coming. Henry, Latin for Lord Christ, Jonathan Click. Neither shall my peace be removed. And Sean Hannity is talking about Joe Biden.
and sadly, we're going to find out one way or another if Biden and Europe fail to get serious and cut off their addiction to Russian oil and gas.
He really meant to say to cut off their dick. Because it's really like this. If you're causing people to cut theirs off, and you're continually doing, but you still have yours, I think that's where this whole saying is coming from. I heard this before, that somebody, in the end, once they get caught and Christ returns, and then they have to cut off their...
He showed me this before the event in Grand Junction. Neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord that hath mercy on thee. Okay, well, in Grand Junction, the event was on Rainbow and Casimir, the nation of peace. So now try and wrap your brain around this, that the guy that the Lord told to skydive in to Grand Junction with the parachute.
This is skydiving right here.
He says,
NATO members, that'll get interesting. Then we're looking at what, World War III, unless, of course, NATO's a paper tiger.
World War III, rumors of wars are happening all of a sudden. And it basically started on 2/22/2/22/2/22, February 22nd, 2022. And why is that? So the funny thing is, I did timestamps today on every one of these videos. That, I got the timestamp there, 2050. Click on the video. And you guys are real funny because
wallet. Brett Baer providing.
You're only giving me a second of a video when I have timestamps all throughout. So what I could do is type it in and then start all over again.
Waterless, they talk about the fact that Zelensky has not fled the country, that he stuck around. You talk with the foreign minister who is driving back in there. I mean, these are tough people who say, we are going to stand and fight for our country. This Federalist piece says, since Putin has decided to oust the Ukrainian government, this means that every day Zelensky remains in office is another day that adds to Ukrainian national confidence to resist, and another day that looks to have miscalculated. If the Zelensky government survives and maintains the support of its people, Putin's 22-year reign will be in jeopardy. That's a
22-year. When Jonathan Clegg was just getting started on that day, and Putin decides to declare war on February 22nd, 2022, into that evening and morning. And that's also,
and to him it is written again, you shall not tempt the Lord your God. And again, the devil,
th year. So that kind of ties in pretty well with Steve and old Vladimir over there. And Vladimir, they go, is Russia a key player? Damn Skippy is. Vladimir over there is a key player.
Fleeing to the Polish border as well. Now,
if you go from Ukraine on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway and you flee over to the Polish border, it's right there at 18th, and it's right there at right there, 18th and Poland.
Venezuela.
But the truth is,
Albania at U1. U1, right here. And then Ukraine. So this is what all the talk is about right now. Right here. Ukraine is crossing over to Poland.
The Russian invasion began with 160 short-range ballistic and cruise missiles being fired at largely military targets across the country. Tonight, Ukrainian president expanded its borders, of course. In 1999, NATO expanded to the Warsaw Pact countries of Hungary, Poland, and the Czech Republic. 3 weeks later, it was bombing Serbia. Putin thought that Russia could be next. He does not see this alliance as defensive. Putin.
So just like the woman at the well.
As defensive. Putin has now gone through 5 U.S. presidents, Biden being the 5th. So far, no sign.
You have 5 husbands, and the one you're with now is not your husband, correct? Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet.
Shoring up the eastern flank, this is what we're talking about here, Poland in particular.
Poland in particular, shoring up the eastern flank. So this is February 25th. And this is February 24th. And what I was showing you was, well, the entire eastern side. From Poland, which is right in front of which is right there, 18th Street, right in front of St. Peter and Paul Basilica. So I was showing you from Logan Square and the entire east side where Poland is the very corner. on 18th and JFK and Benjamin Franklin Parkway.
U.S. forces and NATO troops in these countries. When you hear President Biden talking about shoring up the eastern flank, this is what we're talking about here, Poland in particular. But today, the president activated and soon to be deployed 7,000 troops to Germany from the 3rd Infantry Division.
And I noticed down the Benjamin Franklin Parkway, Russia is not one of the flags. Therefore, Russia is coming. The Russians are coming.
Air base and push the Russians out. And that we can't confirm that at this hour, but that heavy fighting really continued throughout the day. Just to give you another perspective on the neighborhood here, these are the NATO countries.
So the neighborhood is the actual. Oh, it's the neighborhood. Everybody's in the same neighborhood.
And then
Same
Ukraine.
hood.
So this is what all the talk is about right now. Right here.
Turkey's in the neighborhood.
Obviously, I think there's a D2 up there.
Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Germany, Romania, Bulgaria, and these flags, obviously, NATO.
These flags, obviously.
Poland is at 18th and JFK Boulevard. So I'll give you a tour from left to right, Belgium. Because all these nations are coming here.
That's the entire east side.
That's why the Ethiopians and I think the Libyans or something will be at the door.
Going at the corner and all of the east.
And U.S. These are various levels of U.S. forces and NATO troops in these countries. When you hear President Biden talking about shoring up the eastern flank, this is what we're talking about here.
Well, Sean, officials say this was some of the fiercest fighting on the European continent since World War II. U.S. officials say the Russians launched over 160 short-range ballistic missiles.
If that's the worst since World War II, that means World War III.
They have every intention of decapitating the government and installing their own government. Incredible acts of bravery being reported tonight, including this audio tape being shared of Ukrainian border guards on the island known as Snake Island in the Black Sea when approached by a Russian warship who demanded they lay down their arms and, quote, surrender to avoid bloodshed and unnecessary victims. Otherwise, the Russian forces messaged, you will be bombed. The Ukrainian border guards responded over the radio, Russian warship, go F yourself. They were killed. Today, President Zelensky said they would be given the Hero of Ukraine medal.
Oh, yeah, what a hero. You tell them to go F yourself and then you get killed, right? Well, but then you'll be a hero for telling them to go F yourself.
It could have a damaging impact. So I hope.
Skip, is that you?
I hope President Putin will help us to stay on track with respect to what we need to do for the climate.
You know, Paul over in Calvary Church, Bailey Adu, he looks like the guy, he looks like Nicodemus that plays in The Chosen. Same exact shape of the face.
John, he doesn't care about your climate agenda. You have to be a complete idiot to say what you just said.
I mean, you're as tall as him, you're as skinny as him.
And believe what you just said. And this is the same guy, John Kerry, flying around the world in his private jet, lecturing we, the American people, about our carbon footprint. Now, clearly, the Biden administration, they seem to care more about their radical green agenda.
If Biden cares about his green agenda, then that means that's the invert with the Green New Deal. The host body. transmutation circle with the Green New Deal coming out. You see all those cars there. It's like the from the tailpipe. This side is green. Canada's right here. Canada flag and China flag. China's on one end, Canada's on the other.
But, I mean, how could you miss this thing? This thing was huge. It was gigantic. They landed in the backyard. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to make a video and show you the spot.
So I called my bank and I told them that, yeah, it wasn't, I'm in the United States, and that that has never happened to me before. So they issued me a new debit card with a new debit card number. I gotta wait 10 days for that to come now. And
well, you took down the video when you were talking about Canada.
I get attacked by Robin Henry Tees, who returns, it's like a dog returning to the vomit.
February 18th, 2022. 3 days later, February 21st, 2022.
I don't know, I'm starting to think that maybe my dog might be a target.
You mean like that, Steve?
I seen that Robin posted a video yesterday. He's still using that Who is Zeus website that slanders everybody. And Robin, he obviously is part of it, or else he wouldn't be using that to try to defamate my character.
Interesting, huh?
Why I'm shooting this video is because my dog suffers from the same pains as I have. They could actually literally make her cough continuously all day and continuously. And she has no awareness that she has no awareness. She has done nothing. All she knows is that she's in pain.
I don't know, I'm starting to think that maybe my dog might be a target.
Why I'm shooting this video is because my dog suffers from the same pains as I have. They could actually literally make her cough continuously all day.
And go figure. I get attacked. I get attacked by Robin Henry Tees, who returns. It's like a dog returning to the vomit.
3 different languages, and it just depends on which language you're reading. They wrote it a little different in each one of the languages for the people that were passing by. But anyway, Pilate wanted it to be above his head. You know, you're supposed to have the accusation. Matter of fact, But anyway, Pilate wanted it to be above his head. You know, you're supposed to have the accusation. Matter of fact, one version, I think it says there's an inscription above his head. It's actually the accusation of a criminal was placed above their head. And his accusation, he said he was the king of the Jews. Now, as far as the other...
I'll show you what I think about Robin. It's a good analogy of Robin. Because Robin thinks he's going to be a king. in heaven. And you know what? He might be. I don't know. I understand where I'm coming from on, but I mean, to say that SJD was behind is pretty, to me, it's far-fetched. If anything, Robin is definitely drugging up the truth here. I have the truth here. Okay, so if anything, Robin is definitely drugging up the truth here. Okay, and that's exactly what Robin's doing. He's fucking jacking up the truth here.
Also tonight, we're keeping an eye on Canada, where Putin wannabe little dictator himself, little Justin, is now violently squashing all dissent. But first, our top story is the Russian military personnel now are rolling into the eastern part of the country after Russia's hostile dictator issued a decree ordering troops to the region.
Decree. Derek Bros just said he signed a decree.
Я знаю, как принимается. Когда страна ставит...
See, Putin is no dummy. He said, I know how these decisions get made in NATO.
Good evening, everyone. Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. And
I know these decisions, and I know exactly what it means, and I know how it comes about. I know what bringing NATO into this country means for Russia.
We are getting reports already in that the Russian-Ukrainian conflict has begun, and I have not been able to confirm this independently as far as from Washington as of yet.
70 weeks are determined, and March 15th, starting on Harold Camping's world, March 16th.
Okay, yeah, so we're taking the mirror. There's a key right there.
On 316. What do you think is going to happen on March 16th, 2022, when wars and rumors of wars truly, this time around, is truly where we're at in the Bible, being played out? 70 weeks exactly to the day that I was there, where the water stayed still. On October 21st, 2020. As before that,
Okay, here we go. The short video clip was made today, October 20th, 2020, after the Lord told me to drive to Camping World this morning because he had something to show me.
and that's what he showed me. That's what this Jonathan Fleck showed me. And on that day,
Talking about is on October 21st, 2020, Wednesday.
That I will be working on diligently to give all the information out. I'm just getting started. I'm just giving you teaser right now.
so naturally, I follow timelines, and I've been doing this since I started YouTube. There's, I'm sure, a few videos up beforehand that I was, even before 222 came around, saying 70 weeks of Daniel being started there at that date because Kleck was just getting started. And then So now the timeline is 21 days from the beginning of the wars and rumors of wars and Vladimir Putin dropping bombs over there. And then 3:16, John 3:16 is coming up 21 days later. I just think World War III will be declared on this day because of, at first I thought a peace deal beforehand, but no, I'm thinking the 21 days has to escalate first. Then Philadelphia gets hit, a little bit of strength. Jonathan Clegg said he was the angel of the Church of Philadelphia, 511 days after that. He said he was the angel of the Church of Philadelphia. And so Philadelphia will have a little bit of strength. And when the restrainer is taken out, all hell is going to break loose. So when all hell breaks loose, and if it breaks loose in the midst of the week, March 16th, 2022, in Philadelphia, then you know that we're in the days of Daniel. And the war doesn't last very long. It's a 21-day holdup also. So even if you go, I mean, I don't know, what would be 42 days from that point? April 6, 2022, 4 days after my 5th birthday, 5 years old, on YouTube.
Yes, real BP Earthwatch. Russia will be blamed for the hacks, but we know who will do it. Exactly. This is the point. This is all I'm trying to say, folks, is wake up.
By the US of A.
Wake up and smell your country.
Doesn't mean that Russia doesn't do those same things.
Of course not.
Read Sun Tzu's Art of War. All's fair. What's the saying? All's fair in love and war. But that's this broken system here. We live here in this broken system. That's why we have to rightly divide.
Absolutely. We love you much. Please share this. Hit the thumbs up. It really helps the algorithms. It's hungry. It feeds on it, as Divine Renegade likes to say. So please click the thumbs up, share, and comment down below this video. All those things, all interactions help. Even your chat helps. But if you are not a subscriber, they just did a purge at YouTube. YouTube purges channels every single year.
So thank you again.
Having a divergent opinion. Yes, we create space for that. However, I have no place for ostrich heads that are buried beneath the sand. Sorry. That's where Malia and I are different, right? She's much nicer than I am when it comes to that. So, so it's really, really hot in this office, and the lights don't make it any easier, and the lights are all on me. So I think that we'll tally ho, and I promise you that we will get here as much as we possibly can, much more, particularly as things are going. I would say right now, be prepared. If you're not prepared for a potential false flag, I don't care who is doing it. If it's the U.S. attacking our own system, which I believe probably would happen, again, just like the jet being shot down and then being a Russian missile. Somebody shot it down that had the ability, but it wasn't a Russian missile. So those false flags happen. And if they want the excuse to actually start war, as it seems like they would want to be, because they've been having these color wars behind the scenes with Ukraine for so long. So why is it that we're right out in front of this? But yet also saying we don't want a war with Russia. We don't want a war with Russia. We don't want a war with Russia. Well, guess what? What happens if they attack our banking system and take down ATMs and everybody's and we have nothing for 2 weeks? People are going to be killing each other for food.
Did you say
and
banking
gas
system?
And everything else? Complete disruption.
And then all of those things that you never thought were resident within you will start to rise to the surface.
Will start to rise to the surface.
Lest no man boast who enters the kingdom. So thank you again. You guys, we've been sick. You've had so many of you have reached out to me.
And a divergent opinion. Yes, we create space for that. However, I have no place for ostrich heads that are buried beneath the sand. The ability, but it wasn't a Russian missile. So those false flags happen. And if they want the excuse to actually start war, as it seems like they would want to be, because they've been having these color wars behind the scenes with Ukraine for so long. So why is it that we're right out in front of this? But yet also saying we don't want a war with Russia. We don't want a war with Russia. We don't want a war with Russia. Well, guess what? What happens if they attack our banking system and take down ATMs and everybody's and we have nothing for 2 weeks? People are going to be.
Can't wait. Can't wait to see it all unfold. because I've been anticipating this for quite some years now, so we can get it over with.
After the Federal Reserve was established. So let's start there. In 1913, the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve Act was established here in the United States. And supposedly they ratified the Constitution, which really never happened. At least I'm told. So, historically speaking. So that took place. Then just a little under a year later, in 1914, World War I began. So since then, the Reserve and all of the Z bankers and all of these components have played a role in every single military conflict and action across the globe, period. Or flat earthers across the flat round tabletop, but over the whole thing. So, sorry, I'm just going to always try to cover all the bases to help those people that are in between in different places of their enlightenment and their awakening in their ascension, so to speak, because ascension is recognizing these things. First of all, it's impossible for you to recognize them and see them unless you're willing to die to the things that you thought you knew. You can't see them otherwise. So this is clearly going to be one of those things that if somebody is upset by watching and seeing history, problem. It's a problem because you just can't, you're not willing to accept that truth. And that's where I love Jake.
I'll be 46, June 28th, 2022.
So telling the truth, no matter what the cost, you want it all. You always want the truth. And just watch this short little clip. And this is Joe Biden talking before the Council of Foreign Relations, CFR, and he's talking about a deal with Ukraine. And we'll talk about this right after.
To convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to keep.
Thank you, Malia, for correcting my nonsense.
To convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. I don't know.
Germany is going to have to comply, or as I've been told, Germany may leave NATO altogether, because Germany will not side with NATO when it comes to the issue with Russia. Really going to have to see how this is going to pan out in the end here. Border here right now, there is a major plan of China backing Russia to invade the United States. Now, Russia will not do the actual invasion of the United of China backing Russia to invade the United States. Now, Russia will not do the actual invasion of the United States, but the troops are already in place. This is why they want these trucker things moving on, is because it helps to implement martial law. Canada's already implemented martial law. What are they going to do? They're going to put these Chinese troops in place to get ready to come into this country as well. Russia, already with the Poseidon drones on our coastline, moving around nuclear weapons, etc. And I was told that this could happen as early as this, where we're at right now, but they really felt like, the generals felt like it would not happen until this next winter. So Russia has really caught everybody by surprise over this Ukraine deal, and it has everything to do not so much with Ukraine.
Play by play what took place in the Ukraine and why we're here today. So when you think that Putin is operating by the mainstream media's narrative where they say unprovoked, you have got to be smoking a lot of crack to buy that line.
It's this Nord Stream 2 pipeline. And the president couldn't have said it any better when he made that final little statement there.
So Hunter Biden smokes crack. You can't say anything about Hunter Biden or Joe if you are from the inside because you'll get fired. That's the reason why I can talk about it from the outside. What are you going to do? Fire me? I don't work for you. Ray's birth, 1976. 6 months after me. Six 69.
Having Russia there, exploding bombs and everything. Gee, Manetti.
Man, look at that.
Wow. So, very, very serious way. So, not sure what they blew up there. But they're all speaking English. Russia is definitely not playing around, friends. Not playing around on this issue at all.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us tonight via telephone. You're watching this unfold. Your reaction to Putin's threat if any Western nation or any nation intervenes with this Russian military action. Any Western nation or any nation intervenes with this Russian military action.
Well, this is something that should have never happened. This would not have happened during my administration. In fact, some people were saying, why didn't this take place over the last 4 years during our administration? And it didn't for a very good reason, and I'll explain that to you someday. But it wouldn't have taken place, and it wouldn't have taken place right now. And it's a very sad thing for the world, for the country, and it's certainly very sad for a lot of people that are going to be needlessly killed.
Remember, President Trump met with some of the generals just recently.
How would you have avoided this conflict?
He had a better relationship with Putin than what Biden does. Let's face it.
You get along with Trump, right? Right, Steve?
That's the facts.
Well, look, I do know.
5:41 a.m.
know him, and I know him very well. We've had many times together. I got along with him fantastically, despite the fact that I shut down Nord Stream 2. Nobody would have heard of Nord Stream 2 if it weren't for me. I'm the one that shut it down, and I'm the one that told Angela, you're doing a terrible thing by doing this. And they were going to get 75%, not 30%, 75% of their energy from Nord Stream 2. It was ridiculous. If you remember, I told you this privately once. I sent them a white flag, a flag of surrender. I gave it to, she said, what does this mean? I said, that means you'll surrender as far as Russia's concerned. They've had a lot of conflicts over the centuries. So I think that it's a terrible thing. The way it started, I really don't believe you wanted to do this initially. I think he wanted to do something and negotiate, and it just got worse and worse. And then he saw the weakness. And you know, it really started, I think, with the weakness in Afghanistan, the way they pulled out of Afghanistan. I really believe
right
that's
there.
where he started thinking, you know, he can do this. Because when he saw how pathetic...
Yeah, President Trump, I want to just add...
You know, that's kind of interesting when he saw the patheticness of Biden when it comes to Afghanistan. And he's right. He's right. Listen, I go through these meetings. I know exactly what the deal is going on there. And I've heard that over and over and over, that Biden is a very weak president, and that he allowed Afghanistan just to be pushed over and allowed our people to just be massacred over there. And then the whole issue with China and Taiwan, you can probably count Taiwan as probably fixing to go very, very soon. Biden is a weak president. Oh, he's pretty good as you get that thug mentality going in there with the Biden family there, and getting all that money off that Nord Stream pipeline that doesn't pump. Whatever doesn't pump, they get a cut. Russia has to pay for it. Well, Russia's had enough.